Welcome to SportsbookReview.com. I'm Flash, and this is Premier League punters, and it's a strange Premier League punters because the English Premier League are having their first ever winter break. We're going to have 4 fixtures this weekend, and we're going to have 6 next weekend, but there's still 4 games for us to pick the bones out of. And when I say us, I mean we've got Matt and we've got Martin. Martin, how do you think this winter break's going to go down?
In terms of, will they have a good rest? Will it benefit them? Yeah,
well, I'm just thinking, is it a token gesture, to be honest?
I don't know. I mean, for the teams competing in the Champions League, I guess having a couple of weeks off might help them. They have previously complained that it leaves them fatigued and they're not at the same level as their continental rivals in the latter stages of the Champions League. Might help Liverpool go on and conquer Europe again. Otherwise, yeah, not too bothered about it, really.
See, that doesn't really hold any water, Matt, because you've got Liverpool, who obviously have won it. Tottenham got to the final. Manchester United have won it. It's just, I mean, listen, they're always there or thereabouts. And I'm thinking, if you're going to have a winter break, you should close down for 3 weeks or even get rid of one of the cup competitions. And when I say one, I don't mean the FA Cup.
Totally, yeah. I think that it could work to some of these English Premier League sides' benefit with the Champions League and whatnot. And like you said, last year, 2 of the teams going to the final. It's a later winter break than any of the other leagues right now. So hopefully some of these teams come back rejuvenated.
I mean, you look at Liverpool, hardly any of their players have played outside of Premier League fixture. They didn't play in the FA Cup. They didn't play in the FA Cup replay. And then going to have a week off this week. So I think a lot of it really is going to benefit the England side when they have the Euro 2020s as well. But again, it's just that 1 or 2 week break where I just don't know. I mean, I'm not used to it myself. Let's crack on. Let's get straight into it. Records, please, Raf. I didn't have a good week myself last week. Hit the post again. Okay, over a record, 32.8 units of profit. So I'm one of them players that hasn't played well all season, but will still pick up a winner's medal by association. Average price 2.43. I'm definitely responsible for getting that price up, but obviously not the price of the winners. And the individual records, please. And we will be adding Matt next week. So after the next 2 weeks, I won't do the record midway through the break. So Dave's on there. He does the articles at 21.9. Dave does his own bets and he does his own winners. And he's doing a great job. And there's me at minus 13. I'm hovering between minus 8, minus 17, back to 8, back to 13. So hopefully a good weekend for this week and next. And Martin at 25.9, average price at 1.96. That surprises me, Martin, because you always seem to have your winners around the 1.85 and just throw in your little cheeky 2.25s now and again. I'm going to come to you straight away, Martin. Everton 1.65 minus 154. Draw 3.84, which is plus 284. And Palace at 6.4, which is plus 540. Don't like this game personally. How do you see it?
Don't like it either, Flash. Not at all. The odds just look far too low on Everton. I know they're pretty decent at home, but they drew with Newcastle at their last game at Goodison Park. And I just think Crystal Palace are a tough side to face. I know they're in poor form, but remember, this is the side that went to the Etihad and picked up a 2-2 draw recently. So at those sort of odds, I'm a bit wary of opposing Crystal Palace. You could maybe stick a small stake on an away win, but then again, that just looks a bit risky too. Can't really see how the goals market's going to go down either. So just a definite pass from me. Tricky card, actually, but yeah, this one's definitely a pass.
Yeah, very, very tricky. I had that argument with Alex when he wanted me to write an article and pick out 2 bets. I had to dig so deep to find the right type of value and the right type of bets. Matt, do you like Everton?
I do like Everton a little bit. They've started to get better under Ancelotti. Players like Moise Kean are starting to come into their own. He probably had his best showing in the last match. And Palace, for me, they just don't create enough. It's set pieces for them, or it's Zaha or nothing really. And I think that at Goodison, Everton should be too strong for them. For the value, I've gone Everton and the under 4.5 goals at minus 120. I think that that's worth a look here. I think I see 1-0, 2-0, something tight, but as long as they don't have a catastrophe like they did against Newcastle, where they're 2-0 up, cruising, and then Newcastle come in with 2 goals in stoppage time, I think they should have enough here.
Yeah, it's a pass from me, and the reason it's a pass is because I thought the value was all with Palace double chance. Both teams to score, maybe no. Maybe, I definitely think it's an unders game. Maybe I can see it being 1-1, maybe 1-0. But I just had to say no, not for me, even though there's only 4 fixtures. I couldn't really get involved. From the sublime to the ridiculous now, let's go from the Merseyside Everton to the south coast of Brighton. Matt, I'm going to start with you. Brighton at 2.15, which is plus 115. The draw at 3.5, which is plus 250. And Watford at 3.76, which is plus 276. Watford took 12 points from a possible 15. And then they've gone with 3 straight defeats, even though they was in really decent positions. So, Matt, do you trust that Watford can go there and get something, or Brighton going to continue this upward trend?
This is a tough one because Watford have let me down back-to-back weeks here on the show, both in injury time here. I think that Watford are the stronger side. I do like what Brighton can do. With under Graham Potter, it's been some, more attractive football here and there. I really have a question for Martin. I've heard some things about some of the weather in England this weekend, about how it might be like extremely windy. It could lead to some unders because I think that the over 2.5 might be worth a look here, but I'm really just going to pass this match because I'm not entirely sure. I also wanted to take maybe Watford plus a quarter goal, get that head start, but I've just passed this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Watford get beat, but I couldn't press the button on the double chance. Martin, have you found any value in this game?
It is pretty bleak, the weather. We had a nice couple of days, but yeah, it's got freezing cold recently, and I'm told that a lot of rain and wind is on the way, getting the sort of tail ends of a few hurricanes and stuff here. I'm going to go for both teams to score in this one. I think they both get on the score sheet. Obviously, Brighton drew 3-3 last time out at West Ham. Great last-ditch equaliser from the ageing legs of Glenn Murray. And then Watford lost 3-2 to Everton. They keep conceding last-minute goals, but I still think they're strong going forwards, even though Ismail Assar is out. I just can see this being a really good battle between 2 teams that are really fighting against relegation. I'm looking forward to this one. This is the game of the weekend for me, and I've got 1.83 on both teams to score.
Yeah, I put down 1.8 because I couldn't be bothered to look for the little bits and bobs. But my bet in this game, and I've done it with the article, I've put a parlay together over at sportsbookreview.com. Go over, have a little look, pick the bones out of it. But I've gone with both teams to score as well. I think that the worst case scenario, I think it's a 1-1. And if someone goes and gets a winner, then good luck to them. Yeah, Glenn Murray back in the side. Mulpay, who's been pacey, he's done really well considering he was at Brentford and he's made the step up, but can he do it for a whole season? And with Glenn Murray, you know that they can then be a bigger threat at set pieces. The big battle for me in this game is going to be Troy Deeney versus Lewis Dunk. No quarter asked or given. I love the fact. I think Watford's probably got a more athletic and a stronger midfield, but the fingers of Brighton, they seem to be putting it together and they're passing the ball really well. They're moving really well. So I think both teams to score. There's an absolute knocker at 1.83 with Martin. Okay, Martin. 6 months ago, this game would have been relegation 6-pointer. Sheffield United at 1.76, which is minus 131. The draw at 3.6, which is plus 260. And Bournemouth at 5.85, which is plus 485. Sheffield United go 5th. Yes. They go 5th if they beat Bournemouth.
Amazing, isn't it? The season that they're having. What a great job Chris Wilde has done. Fantastic at home. Very, very strong side. Very difficult to break down. Manager of the year contender, definitely. If Jurgen Klopp wasn't doing so well at Liverpool, I think he'd be a shoo-in. But then again, I don't know. I just have a feeling about Bournemouth at the moment. They seem to have turned a corner. I know they struggle a bit defensively, but they seem to have a bit more belief about them now. That win against Aston Villa will have done them a world of good last time out. Did pretty well against Arsenal. I know they lost, but they beat Brighton in the previous game. I think things are just clicking into place for them a little bit. I think they can pick up a bit of momentum now. One thing about Sheffield United is that when they do win, it's only ever really by a single goal. They're scrappy, they grind out results. So I'm going totally against the grain for this one. Bournemouth +1, Asian handicap 1.67.
1.67.
Yeah, not huge odds, but I think they won't lose.
Yeah, nowhere near
see
huge odds. Matt, have you got anything for this game?
I don't. This one is tough. I like that angle. That's, I think, going against the grain, kind of like you said, Martin. Yeah, Sheffield, Chris Wilder. I can't back them at this price. It's being overpriced a little bit. I do think that they're the better side, and I wouldn't tell anyone not to continue to fade Bournemouth in a sense. I still think that they're struggling right now, especially in front of goal. And it's going to be tough in this match. This should be pretty cagey. I know that I believe that the last 5 for Sheffield have gone under 2.5. It might even be more than that. It's they're an unders team, and I think this probably stays under.
Okay, well, I've got quite a strong one here. I've gone with Sheffield United to win and under 3.5 goals at 2.15, which is plus 115. I mean, Sheffield United, I think they win the game, worst case scenario, 2-1. I look at it and think, will Bournemouth have the fight and the discipline to stick with them in the early stages? And then with Sheffield United, they're patient as well. They stick to the script. They get them fullbacks pushed right on. They've got overlapping centre-backs. They have midfield boys. I mean, the weakest part of their game is actually putting the ball in the back of the net through a striker. So I'm actually going to go with Sheffield United to win and under 3.5 goals at 2.15 at plus 115. Finding value in this next game was nigh on impossible. Man City 1.12 minus 850. Draw 11.25, which is plus 1025. And West Ham at 29. I've not seen a bigger one this season, which is plus 2,800. Matt, I'm going to start with you. How did you find any value in Man City versus West Ham?
I really didn't. It's so difficult to find value with City, even when they do struggle to concede. And this one, for me personally, I would just take it on the Asian handicap if I had to play it with City. They should have no problem with West Ham. I'm really interested to see Laporte. Will Laporte be back for them? He is the most key player for Manchester City, maybe a top 5 center half in the world. You know, he needs to get his fitness ready because Real Madrid is coming right around the corner, and they have got to head to the Santiago Bernabeu, and that is going to be it's going to be difficult. He needs to be at 100% fit for that match if City want to come away with anything in that one. So I'll be just watching City here to really kind of gather, some, I don't know, just really trying to focus on seeing what they can provide going into Real Madrid, I guess.
Okay, I fancy Real Madrid beat them over 2 legs. Martin, have you found any value in Man City versus West Ham?
I just don't think the bookmakers want us to bet on this game, really. There's so little value. I mean, you have to give them like a -3 Asian handicap to get anything out of it, which seems a bit steep, really. They often thrash West Ham, to be fair. West Ham aren't the sort of team that sit back and park the bus. We've seen them beaten 4-0 and 5-0 recently. But then again, last time West Ham visited the Etihad, it only finished 1-0 to Man City. So it's hard to know what to do, really. If I had to bet on it, I'd probably go Man City win to 0. You can get odds of 1.91 on that, which is -110 American. But they're not exactly the most solid defensive team in the world these days, Man City. So I'm not going to make that an official play. I'm going to have to pass this one, I'm afraid.
Okay, it's funny you said 4-0 and 5-0 because I've got 2 bets in this. I've gone half unit on Man City to win 4-0 at +800. And I've got half unit on Man City to win 5-0 at +1200. I think it's the way to go. I think the Man City, they will beat them, but I'd rather have 4 and 5-0 on my side at 8 and 1200 than having -3 play plus 105 or something mad like that. So I'm going with Man City to win 4 or 5-0. Okay, Matt, just fly me through your selections, please, and if you've got a banker. Don't worry if you haven't.
I've
because
got
obviously,
one selection this week. You know, it's a tough card.
I've only given you 4 games,
somewhat
Matt.
of some boring matches.
You've got 6 more next week. So remember, I'm going to combine the cards for the record. So your banker might be next week.
Totally. Yep. I'm on Everton and under 4.5 goals in the match. I see a cagey, low-scoring affair where they can come home with 3 points at Goodison. That's -120. That's my one play for this weekend.
Okay, Martin?
Yeah, pretty lean from me as well. I'm just going to go for both teams to score in that Brighton versus Watford game at odds of 1.83, which is -120. And just giving Bournemouth a +1 Asian handicap at 1.67, -150 when they take on the mighty Sheffield United at Bramall Lane.
Okay, well, I'm going with Brighton, Watford, both teams to score at 1.83. And that's my banker of the weekend. I think both teams definitely score there. Sheffield United to win and under 3.5 goals at 2.15, which is +115. And remember, Man City and West Ham, half unit on each at +800 the 4-0 and +1200 the 5-0. So I'll see you again next week, boys. Looking forward to the other 6 games because these 4 were beyond tricky. But have a good weekend, Matt. Have a good week, Martin. And I'll speak to you both soon.
Thanks, Flash.
Thanks, Flash.
Okay, so that's a bit of a short and sharp Premier League punters this week because we have the international, or not the international break, the winter break. I mean, still can't get my head around it. 4 fixtures this weekend, but 6 next weekend. So be sure to join us next week when we have a 50% upload from 4 to 6. See you soon.